At 6 o'clock, we'll start our meeting by reciting the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great.
We gotta come in person or don't?
Jody is online.
Oh, okay. Hi, Jody.
Those are Lisa online and Stacy. We do have Stacy. All right,
Folks want to look through the agenda and we'll keep the motion to approve it, please. Move we approve the agenda. And move the second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye. Vote nay. Carry, we approve our agenda.
I'm sorry, who was that? Was that Steve?
Stephen Carroll.
Thank you, sorry.
Now we'll take a look at our previous minutes.
Version the survey.
I entertain a motion to approve the agenda
Minutes.
for minutes. I'm sorry. Thank you.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve our meeting minutes. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We have approved our previous minutes. Opening remarks by Laura.
All right, hello, everyone. I see two new faces at least that weren't here last time. Please make sure you leave me your email address. So that I can get that. If you haven't, if I already have your email, just sign your name so I can get it. We do have a couple of handouts. I've got the current / previous land use plan. It's only about 4 pages long. That's the one that's not comprehensive enough that we're trying to replace. We've got the ISU Extension Office summary of the laws that's easier to read. If you didn't get that last week, there's one up there. I do have a newer version. It says at the bottom draft 2/11/26. I've already incorporated some suggestions that I've gotten from the survey. Discuss more if you guys have more. You want me to undo any of the changes I've done? I'll talk more about that a little later. If we get done with our comprehensive land use plan stuff early, we can let them all go and switch over to wind. If we get close to the full 8 o'clock, we can just stick with comprehensive land use plan, but it is on the agenda in case we need to get to it. So that's what we have for tonight.
And what we've been forgetting to do is re-elect the chair and vice chair, right?
Well, we only forgot once.
You want to like do that at this time?
Yeah, we have to do it every new calendar years.
You handle that, or you want me to ask for motions from the floor, or
Go for it.
any nominations from the floor for? Any
Nominate Doug.
Need a second?
Second.
Second. So it's been nominated and seconded that I would be chair. Any discussion? Anyone else want to nominate someone? We'll have a vote. It's been Jody Harris.
Jody, Harris.
All I'm hearing is echoes.
Yeah,
Jody,
sure. Better wait till we get her on before.
Just check. I'm not muted anywhere I'm not supposed to be. There we go. Jody, we can.
Every time you talk, I get echoes.
On twice, so that might be part of it. Anyway, we have a question and a second for Doug to be chairman again. We're just gonna vote if you would like to vote when we call for it, Doug.
All right, all favor, say aye.
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 Here, calendar year.
Sounds good.
Now we need to elect the vice chair.
Thanks, Steve.
A second.
Get that, Laura?
Wade and Carol nominate Steve.
So we have a motion and a second to nominate Steve Peterson for our vice chair. Is there any other nominations? Not, we'll vote on that. All in favor of Steve being our vice chair for this next year, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Steve, congratulations, you're our vice chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, on to our new comprehensive land use plan. Do we want to kind of, where do you want to start on this? Do you want to go to the survey, or were there some people that took a test survey that we want to talk about?
Let me go through the House File 2148 first.
I'm sorry, I left you out.
Nope, that's okay. I don't actually have any status updates. I put it on here in case there was any movement. All I have so far is an introduction. It was introduced by Fincher, who's our representative. The House File is an act eliminating the Iowa Smart Planning Principles and other local comprehensive planning and development guidelines. So basically, it would be reversing the 18B1 and 18B2, which is what those ISU documents are. Right now, it's required that we have the comprehensive plan as the base to build all our ordinances on. Standing. Feeling this would not require us to have this comprehensive land use plan tied into all of our other ordinances. So we can still do our ordinances without having this. If we do go through with it, which I still think is a good idea, and I've heard that feedback from other people as well, just so we know the temperature of the county, we could still do it, have it on file. Maybe not as extensively as they previously wanted. But we could still have that as a reference for all future ordinances. It just wouldn't be a legal requirement for us to move forward with any ordinances as it currently is. So if you guys want to go look that up online, that is HF 2148. So, like I said, I haven't seen any movement on it since our public notice went out. So it's just kind of waiting for a committee or a subcommittee or something. So I don't have any more news on that, but it is out there. It has been introduced.
Has anybody else signed on to it? Has anybody else supported it,
Co-sponsored it.
co-sponsored it? Yeah, I mean, that's,
I don't know how to check. That's just on their website.
I just was wondering how much support it had within the.
This is just my opinion, but until it becomes law, we've got to kind of go by what we've got on the books now. Don't we?
Yeah.
And with all the broad interest we have here, last meeting and this meeting of people wanting to take part in this comprehensive land use plan, I think we should proceed.
I don't know about who's signed on with it, but it does look like they had a subcommittee meeting and subcommittee consisted of, I'm gonna say this one, Wengren, Lawler, and Zabner. And then they had their subcommittee meeting on the 5th and they recommended passage. So it hasn't moved since the 5th. Zoning is getting attacked a lot this year. So.
And in a nutshell,
A lot this year.
and in a nutshell, it just passes, it just says that we don't have to have a comprehensive land use plan in order to have full further ordinances first, right? Who's the aesthetic one?
It's Jody's feedback.
Okay,
Sorry, Jody.
Am I understanding it correctly?
Yeah, so if it passes, it would remove the requirement of a county to have it to move forward with any other ordinances. Because right now, if anybody wanted to challenge an ordinance of ours, they could on the basis that we don't have a land use plan that it's based off of. Because the one that we have, that you guys reaffirmed last year, is not technically following comprehensive land use plan.
Incorporated into our comprehensive.
We could, yes.
That can be part of it, yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah. Can you check in and find out any other counties that do not have one now? I don't know how you'd find out, I'd like to know,
Well, I
maybe
tried
some of the other
finding
rural
counties
counties.
with, I tried finding counties with comprehensive land use plans, and I really only found the 5 that I emailed out links to everybody.
Yeah, okay.
There could be more, but it might be harder to dig for. Like, I believe Marshall County has one, but it might be more like our old one, because nothing's online.
Okay.
And then I think it was from longer ago.
I mean, I wrote an article for the paper and I tried to find surrounding counties. I couldn't come up with anything. Cedar County has one. I really like that one, if you want to check that one out.
But like, if a county doesn't have county zoning, like Benton County doesn't have county zoning, then they wouldn't need the comprehensive land use plan. So it's possible that they don't have one and don't need one since they don't have zoning. So you would have to check counties with zoning that don't have comprehensive land use plan. I'm sure there's a handful more than we think. Anyway, I just want to bring that to your guys' attention. We can keep an eye on it this legislative session. This way you guys have a copy of it on the agenda. You can find the number when you're looking later. Test survey results, I got back a few. I don't know about you guys. Did you hear anything back from anybody? Okay, so the few that I got back, 2 said about 10 minutes, but they were interrupted. One said 6.5 minutes, another said 15. So I think if we could take you about 15 minutes, then if it goes faster, they're not mad. As long as we say about,
Right.
if it takes them a lot longer, that's fine too. A couple changes that I already did in here. It was suggested that we add another line for printing your name for the actual printed copies. So I did that. I would like to remove everybody's name from their results when we get it in, whether it's electronic version or printed version. So the printed version, I have this big gap behind it, so we can cut it off. So I'll still hang on to the names if we responded, but it won't match the results so that people can't say, hey, you said this. So we'll have the results, we'll compile the results, we'll have the names, so we can, if anybody,
Not duplicated.
yeah, so it's not duplicated, so people can prove, or so we can prove it wasn't duplicated. But so that other people can't say, well, we don't trust so-and-so's judgment or whatever. So, and then I would likely remove all those before anybody else saw the results. So, another thing that was suggested was number 4. So you can kind of see for the printed copies, I bolded the stuff that changed. It used to just say yes, no, or planning to move to Tama County. So I changed this one to just have yes, you live or own real estate in Tama County. No, planning to move to Tama County. No, I work but don't live in Tama County. And then number 5, just left that as unincorporated area within city limits or do not live in Tama County. We're gonna have the online version open to anybody. Otherwise, you had to make them sign in with a Microsoft 365, and nobody's gonna fill that out if we make them do that. So we might be getting a bunch of people that, just work here and see our flyer, fill it out. I mean, if they're in the county that much that they're working here every day, they might have an opinion. The next one that I changed, I believe I removed the other option from number 7. Trying to format it, we had a lot of options on there. And to have another option that was a level of concern question, didn't seem like it was very helpful for that one. Let's see, number 13, I changed the format when I was testing online version. They didn't have a really good way to rate. Like we previously had rate 1 to 5 for 3 different things. I split the water quality from the flood protection. That was somebody else's suggestion. Makes sense to me. Some people might be more worried about flooding than water protection or vice versa. So I changed this from a rank at 1 to 5 to a not important, somewhat important, moderately important, very important. I figured that was the same basic information we're looking for. Like I said, I split that out. For the ranking on number 12, I added just an extra comment that said, with 1 being the most important, because somebody told me it was not clear how the ranking was supposed to go. On the website that I'm using, the ranking, you just click and drag. So you're not actually writing a number in, you're just dragging it to the top. So online it says, with the most important at the top. Let's see. Number 15, it just previously said renewable energy. So I changed it to an actual question that says, how do you feel about renewable energy? And then I rearranged one of them. I moved the individual small scale solar for accessory use to the top. And then all the utility scale, then the setback, then all the no additional stuff, and I'm not sure. I don't know if we need an other in there, but I also don't know if we want to add community solar. We left that out. And that is something we'll be working on. I think that'd be a good one to add. I mean, we already have up to J on there, but community solar was also something else somebody wrote in for one of my test ones. So I would say we should consider adding that. I don't know if we want to take off the other, if we have enough options, or if we want to leave the other and add community solar. I don't think it matters. It didn't limit me on how many options I had on when I was doing it online. Number 16.
Group, what do you think of that? What do you think of adding community solar or just leaving it in for a possible other, right?
I think it should be added.
Should be added.
I think it should be added.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we want that right after the individual and before utility scale?
Something that people might not be aware of, but
I would,
yeah.
you're going from the smallest up to the biggest.
And then back down to no. All right, I will add that, community scale. I'm not gonna add any definitions to that. If they don't know, they can leave not sure or move on for me. Number 16, I was advised to rearrange it because 2 people that took it were like, basically the order you had was my order 1 through 7. So they're like, one of them was like, maybe just rearrange it so that it's not that obvious. So I changed it to alphabetical. If you think I need to reword any and rearrange the alphabet for the rewording, I can do that. I didn't actually change what the options were, just change the order and then saying, with 1 being the most important. And then I added a whole question at the end. Oh, no, before we get there. Number 19, I did broadband / internet in case some people don't know what broadband is. Possibility. That's the only place I did that. I know we talked about broadband somewhere else, but that's the only place I added that. Number 22 is a completely new question that I added because I forgot to bring it up in the meeting last week. And that's been a topic in many meetings for the last 3 years, I think. So should CSR2, core suitability rating, be considered in zoning ordinances? Yes, for renewable energy zoning only. Yes, for residential, commercial, industrial structure zoning only. Yes, for all types of approvals. No, for none approvals, and don't know, I have no opinion. And I was gonna have this as a select one. So any comments on that line at all, since I totally added that, we didn't have it before. Want to take any suggestions?
Steve?
Carol, there was one I added earlier, like right after the meeting about education, and I can't remember what question that was on.
How many people,
Like number
how
2?
many people, if you're not in ag, know what CS?
CSO there is.
You need to define it a little bit.
So besides core and suitability rating, that's not up to.
Well, I mean, yeah.
There's a not sure option on there, we can pick that.
How do we protect, very good farmland,
So-
top quality.
Should CSR two corn suitability rating be considered in zoning ordinances to protect prime farming?
Yes,
Does that sound good to everybody?
something, yeah, a little more.
I do think that would give more clarity, because
Now,
I have people come in our office and they don't know what it is, or they'll call it the wrong thing. They'll call it crop suitability rating.
yeah,
You know, it's not.
Okay. Do we need more than just say to protect prime farming?
in an effort to protect prime farmland.
In an effort. Okay, so should CSR two corn suitability rating be considered in the zoning ordinances in an effort to protect prime farmland?
I like that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, any suggestions on rewording the answers? So one other thing with the survey, and I do not recognize my paper going up to me, oh my gosh. Okay, so
Say. But do not restrict any non-agricultural structures. Maybe that's, maybe like development. Rather than just structures.
oh, I might have changed that online, hold on.
Yeah, that's something they can do.
Okay, I meant to say do not restrict any structures because of CSR2 rating.
Structures of development.
Okay, so if we just took out non-agricultural, so if we say do not restrict any structures,
Any non-agriculture, actually, any non-agriculture development.
It's the chase structured development, is what I think what you're saying.
Right.
You live with that, Lord?
so leave in non-agricultural, so do not restrict any non-agricultural development.
Right, like that better.
Agricultural development. And then I was gonna say instead of with, I was gonna say because of CSR2 rating.
I think it was number 17, Laura,
What?
on education, I think it was 17.
Okay, so I had a suggestion right after the meeting and I fixed it right away. That's it.
I think it was additional educational opportunities. That was in 17.
Okay.
But the question, what are the biggest opportunities in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
When is that?
17.
Is it 17?
Something with higher education.
Well, I think additional educational opportunities was misleading, like, did that mean private schools?
Oh, right.
We were saying, we thought it meant higher education, but that, it didn't.
But
say.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Sure, okay, so 17. We reworded it, let me find my version.
Because it's now question 20.
Is it now question 20?
Yeah, you put in additional higher educational
Okay,
opportunities.
yeah, so number 20 on the new version. We made it into additional higher educational opportunities. That would indicate more post high school. Higher education. That was the other change we made, yes. And I just want to show you the reason that I think we should use this formatting when we do our printed versions. Because when I print off the online version, I could not change the font. So it's kind of tiny. And it didn't reduce any page size, so I'd still have to do 5 pages front back. So, I mean,
Can't read it, then we'll do it.
and I mean, the PDF version, you can't type into it. But if we're printing it off, it's not gonna matter. So for a printed version, I think we should have the online one match this format. Be the same questions, except with the, like I said, the online version for ranking, it lets you move it, click and drag and move it to your rank. Whereas this one, I said, make sure number 1 is number 1.
What if
So
you
yeah,
took the,
printed version, I'd say we'd still go with this.
Jody's got something to say.
what if you took the boxes off altogether and just put please reply below? Because there's a spacing in between each of these questions. And then otherwise it looks like it's limited to maybe putting, 20 words in there. Maybe somebody has got a really good idea that has, a lot more verbiage to it, that if you took those little boxes off and just put, please reply below, and then they could just, answer underneath in between the questions. I don't know. I'm
So just
sitting
have
here
it-
on my telephone looking at this, and I'm thinking, well, that doesn't really give you that much room. I don't know. It was just an idea. I'm looking at this layout and I'm thinking, well, that doesn't look like much room. So I don't know.
I'm just worried they wouldn't realize that
There's, yeah.
they're allowed to write there. And I think they'd be, if they have a lot, they'll just write outside the box.
This
It's
is
like,
hoping to prompt something from them.
Right.
To get an answer.
the online version allows an other, and then when it's online, it has like a typing box. I can't tell how much space it allows to type for other though. So when it's printed out, it'll just say, other, you can pass this around. I only did one copy. I did have a question about number 6. We say, please select up to 3. We only actually have 5 options there, and one of them's an other. Do we want to cut it down to 2, or do we want to add more options?
That's the way it was in the other county.
I mean, that could be, we could say up to 3, just leave off the one you don't like the most. That was just a question.
Well, up to 3 doesn't mean they might only choose one.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Okay. That was just okay, I don't think I had any other questions, so,
We didn't quite finish 22
did they,
yet. I think we want to change words under D, do not restrict any non-ag development
thought we had that down.
regarding CSR2 rating. Is that what we want?
In an effort to protect, so should CSR2 corn suitability rating be considered in the zoning ordinances in an effort to protect prime farmland?
Then under D,
Oh, under D, you're gonna say, do not restrict any non-agricultural developments.
regarding CSR2 rating instead of with the CSR2 rating, what do you think? Like the way it is?
Because of CSR2 rating. Would because of work? I just forgot. What?
There, I mean, you're talking about should you put the CSR into question. But you're not referring to it really. I guess you do refer to it C, but I almost wonder if that could just be left off, just not restrict any non-agricultural development.
Period.
Yeah,
So just take off the CSR2.
I think it's kind of redundant, because you've already got it in the question.
I see that.
I like that
Do
too.
we need to change C then?
I think C looks all right.
See, that's all right, just B was too wordy.
CSR is, certainly CSR might allow something or we can make it.
So question's fine, then we just change D to be, no, do not restrict any non-agricultural developments here.
Right.
So technically I don't have any punctuation, but you get what I mean. So does anyone else have any other questions that came up that we should consider adding or rewording?
I have a few.
Okay, what you got, Jody?
It's Lisa.
So it's Lisa.
Oh, sorry, Lisa, sorry.
All right, 3. For A, it says ages 17 to 25. The question the person who is looking this over asked, are we allowed to collect data from minors?
If we're not forcing them to, is other things.
Because we're gonna let high school senior students, right?
Right, which is why I included 17.
17-year-olds.
But
All right,
when I tried to see if North Tama would do a test survey run for us, and they were very hesitant about it. They wanted to completely review it all because there's only certain things you can ask seniors. But if we're not asking it in a school setting, does that change it? And where would we look for that? Or just change it to 18 and not, if they're not 18 yet, then oops,
They'll do it anyway and they'll say they're 18.
I think we should allow the schools to dictate how we're making our survey out.
Yeah.
At 18, and others shouldn't be filling it out anyhow, maybe even.
if we're not sending it to the schools and it's just out there, at least, do you know if that'd be a difference? If we're not like sending it to the schools to do? So no, okay.
It's a solution of which they
I think at 18, yeah,
Make it 18, okay.
be done with it.
I will change that to 18 to
High
25.
school seniors that do graduate at the age of 17.
That's why I think we included it in the first place, but
Yep, I think that's why we did it that way, because otherwise you're gonna, I know I had a daughter that didn't turn 18 till a month after high school graduation, so she wouldn't have been on, she wouldn't have been on this study. So, I mean, there's a lot of kids that, not a lot, but a percentage that aren't 18 when they graduate, or maybe the last 2-3 months before graduation, they turn 18. And if this would come out at the beginning of the year, they wouldn't be allowed to be in on it. So.
well, it's gonna be coming out in the next like week, so
Well, and if it's coming out in line, anybody can fill it out.
Right.
And they can lie about their age or, I mean, we're never gonna know.
I mean,
We're
we
not-
might know based on the name.
Maybe, but
But you guys aren't gonna know, cause I'm the one looking at the name.
I mean, you're not gonna know every kid in
No.
the county, so we're not gonna know. They're not gonna give us their birth date, so. I don't know as it really matters.
and legally, are we allowed to do 17? So,
Well, Story County did surveys for, I think, down to middle school. If you look at the Story County survey, I know they for sure did high school. Did you read that?
Administration, no, I didn't, but administration,
Well, you gotta be 18 and older,
Yeah.
and you gotta be just old and military and those.
Should we go ahead and say,
It's not gonna skew the data one way or the other anyway.
we'll go ahead and say 18, and if somebody younger fills it out, somebody younger fills it out, and they'll still be in that age range. Although we are on the safe side.
Well, and just looking at the first thing that comes up, it says, yes, data can be collected from 17-year-olds via public surveys, but because they are minors under 18, generally requires parental consent. But they consider them mature minors. But I don't think there's any,
I think it was wrong. I mean, I graduated early and I was 17, so.
They still could vote.
I still couldn't vote, but the thing is, if people want to fill out a survey, you're right, they're gonna do it, and, and in the end result, the only thing I really am concerned about is the parental consent, but I mean.
Snapchat and other online things.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we should say 18 though, to be safe.
I just keep it simple. I mean, 18.
Yes. And I think if you have some 17-year-olds in there, it's not gonna skew the results.
It's not gonna make any difference.
Online, they did allow things with like, a required thing to fill out, so I did make the first 3 questions required. Provide a name and address, provide your zip code, provide your age range. Everything else I left is not required, so if somebody doesn't want to fill it out, they don't have to.
More is the online version, does it look similar to this, or was it quite small?
It's smaller print, but online you can zoom.
Okay.
So here's what it looks like on, but if I print it, it looks like this. So I was gonna keep that version for you printed
The
out.
reason I have times where I needed a PDF and I don't have the programming within my office. And Michelle in the auditor's office has been able to take when I have something like this And then she would make it fill a form.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've been aware of that or talked to her, or if that even interests you. I'm just,
I wasn't sure how to make that into a survey that we can send out and get back. I know Google Forms probably could have done it, but I was having my mind spinning, trying to figure out what to do. So since the county's already got a Microsoft 365 account, it's free for me to use those forms. So that's what I tested it with today. I might have accidentally published it. I think I took it back. The Microsoft 365 does also have an option for multilingual, so we could pick a Spanish to be an option. I don't know how that works on the other end, if they just say, hey, I want to change language, or,
I think usually on a lot of these things, there's a button that says translate.
okay.
Then
So do we want to pick another language besides Spanish? I figured English and Spanish in this part of the state is probably
No,
the most.
should be- English is the language of the nation. It should be in English. That's just my opinion.
Hey, I have
Any
a
other
few more
opinions?
things about other questions. Do you want me to bring them up?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I have the draft version of 12126, so you could possibly have already fixed these things, but question number 5 has a typo in it. Do you live in an unincorporated? It needs the D at the end of it, but you might have already gotten that. I don't know.
Nope, I fixed that one. Thanks.
And then there's a couple places, and I think you already talked about this too, where you had broadband. The person was wondering if you wanted to add in internet access to make it more clear of what you meant with broadband.
I added internet to number 19. I made it broadband/internet. There is another place where number 18 is
Yeah,
broadband gaps. I can add broadband/internet gaps. Would that,
yeah, I think that would make it more clear.
I don't think
And
you
then-
mentioned broadband anywhere else.
No. Oh, and then 18F. The person thought that workforce and then childcare limits should be separate because they're two different issues.
Okay with that. Any other objections? I know some of our answers are wrong, but we're just gonna compile all the answers and say what, percentage of people think what, so.
18
That's what I
had
had.
enough.
And they can pick all that apply. I'm fine with having
Yeah.
another line.
Good.
Thank
Okay
you.
with that?
Yeah.
Hey, did you have any timing results from your people that looked through them?
I forgot to ask.
Okay. From the ones that I heard, I think if we went with approximately 15.
Yeah, I'm the one who said 15. It didn't take me that long, but it's a
Okay.
maximum.
I
If I
think I
wrote
probably
that
put it on
about it.
I probably put it on whatever post we send out and the flyer. We'll split those, okay. Any other comments on the changes that I threw in or that we talked about last week? Did I miss anything? Did I spell anything else wrong? So yeah, I think for the printed copy, I'm still gonna use how we were doing it with the blue and the boxes and the larger print, just cause, oh my gosh, I have decent eyes and this is like. And it'd be the same amount of paper. I think I can go ahead and make those tweaks and get this posted. I don't know if I can do it by tomorrow, maybe by Monday. No, I have a funeral Monday, Tuesday. I could do it by Tuesday. And then we'd have it set for, do we want to do a month or 6 weeks? From whenever I get it posted. If I post it Tuesday, that'd be the 17th. If we went a month, that would be March 17th. We could go an extra 2 weeks and make it March 31st. That'd be 6 weeks and it'd be nice cut off at the end of March.
Do you have a number of surveys you'd like to get back?
I'd like to get back as many as we can.
I mean, I was shocked in that Cedar County. It looked like they only got 50 back.
Yeah, they didn't get very many.
Don't seem to make any difference how long you leave it. People will wait till the last deadline, then try to fill it out anyhow.
Yeah.
So pick a date, 20th, 17th, end it sometime, because that's what people do.
Is going through March gonna hit too much early planting?
Pretty much, so,
It wouldn't be much in March, yeah.
It's 15 minutes.
right.
They're gonna do it or they're not.
And we
But I
can do
agree, I
another,
don't wanna, wouldn't wanna give them too long. I mean, if you,
Right,
you know,
do we just wanna do a month then, the 17th?
I think that, but you're gonna have this available and ready to go out next week then?
Well, I would make it a month from whatever it goes out. I think I could get it out by next week, yeah. I mean, I
You'll
can
have
try for
and
tomorrow.
I'll
but I
have
don't
copies
have it.
available. Got plenty of copies if I wanna get some and go around. I've got some people that are, I said I just bring it out to them and
Sure. People like certain dates. They like the 1st, they like the 15th, and they like the 30th. So I would pick one of those three, not the 17th or something weird. I
What
would
about like the 20th? That'd be a Friday.
They like the 30th. Most people like those three dates that I said. Wherever,
15th is
I
a
like the
Sunday,
end of the month. is
end of the month.
kind of a-
Okay,
20th is payday.
March 31st.
I don't know that 6 weeks would really kill us if I do get it out by Tuesday. If it's like Wednesday, then that'd be just under 6 weeks.
and that would give you some flexibility if you did get it out by then, if something
Right.
happens.
Right.
So we'll say the 31st. That sounds reasonable if I get it out next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So we're all good with the survey then? Yeah?
I'll let people know it's available one.
I was gonna come up with a Facebook post and send it to Karen to see if she'll send it to everybody in the county that's got one and the supervisors. I'm going to have a link on the zoning website. Hopefully on the main page of the county website, but I haven't talked to Michelle about that yet. Definitely on the zoning website. I'll print out flyers, like I showed you guys that flyer earlier. All I need to do is insert the QR code. So that if somebody's in like grocery store, they could just do the QR code to get to it. I would like, today I wanted to get a list of where you guys thought we should try to contact people to see how many printouts they would want. I don't want to just print out like 500 copies and have them go and use somewhere, but say the assisted living places would be a higher proportion of people that would likely want hard copies. So should we call those places and say, if I bring you hard copies, how many would you need? Could you get your citizens to do it? Or, I don't know, call the churches,
And
which churches do you wanna call,
banks.
or just have the banks have a small stack and have them,
banks would be the ones, yeah. They've already said, Chelsea Bank said they'd
okay.
bring some in and we'll give them out to customers.
All right, I would definitely like to get flyers in all the banks and the churches and if we can get convenience stores to agree to it, grocery stores to agree to it,
Sale barn.
that'd be great. It'll likely be just logistically, it'll be online before it'll have the flyers all up and all the hard copies up, which I think would be, why it'd be good to have that extra 2 weeks out there. Just so I can drive around the county and drop off all our.
Can we go online and see if there's any malfunctions when you fill it out? Which
Sure.
happens every once in a while. I mean, I think just copy us in on it as soon as you go online with it, so we can go in and play with it a little
Well,
bit.
you guys are all citizens, you will get to fill one out too, so if you're the first ones and you go, hey, you need to
Yeah.
fix this, I can get it fixed right away then. Sure.
If there's any glitches or anything else in it always seems to come out right away.
I mean, we can also share the link on our social medias, right?
Absolutely, yes. Repost, whatever. It'll just be a matter of who we should actually contact to see if they want hard copies or how many.
Right.
Are the
So-
hard copies gonna need to be mailed back in? Is that what the idea is?
I mean,
Or-
I can,
Or what, I
if
mean,
they
what,
hang on to it. If they hang on to it, whoever's handing it out, the people can either drop it back at my place or drop it where they got it. And I will swing around all those places that we passed them out and pick them up later. I think those two options would be plenty, right? If they want to drop it off here or at the auditor's office. My office or the auditor's office or wherever they picked it up from.
would it be too much to have the website on this copy, printed copy underneath the Tama County just added on there?
If they're getting a hard copy, there's no point in them going on. everything.
Well, if.
Oh, someone else.
I could paste it. Well, it's a thought.
But you're gonna have like their
Yes,
county side.
there will be a link on the county site, county social media. You guys will be able to forward your repost your social medias. You can email the link. The hard copy would be just for people that absolutely won't go on. So I really don't want to print a ton of copies.
No. But if you could put on there, if you wish to do it online, here's the,
Yeah, so the mock-up I did for a flyer. I mean, I might email that out to you guys and just, we can see if there's some that's still there. So that'd be where the QR code would go. So the Microsoft 365 did have a QR code when you went to go publish it. So I wouldn't even have to make one. It would just be screenshotting it going on. Yes.
What might be more important if you take 10 out to a church, if they use 10 in the first few days, how quickly they can get 10 more. That might be important, because that way you wouldn't have to give them a whole bunch up front. If one church may not use 10 ever, the other might use 50 copies if you're able to get them new ones on a regular basis.
I could let everyone know that I'm dropping off. If they want more, I could send them an email that they could print more, but then that's them printing it.
Something to get them refreshed.
Karen,
People are gonna wanna know, why do we have to fill this out? I mean, is this a confidential thing? I'm not saying this. That's what people are gonna wanna know. Why on earth why would I give you this information?
do we need to add that to the
It's
flyer?
gonna have to be somewhere on there.
Well, it is on the actual survey, Karen. It says the names and address will be removed after notification. But the flyer doesn't say it. We could add that to the flyer.
Well, I mean, just that. That public participation is a part of planning, a required part of planning. That's why we're asking for your input.
So maybe add that to the Facebook post.
Because we get phone calls all the time. They're called scam calls. And they always want personal information. So something has to set this apart. So I don't think that this is a scam survey. Yeah,
Trying to get your information, Karen,
just, but I'm not saying I'm saying the public.
What was the phrase you used? Public participation is a part of what planning? County planning?
It's a required part of the strategic planning.
Strategic plan. I missed that third part of it.
I might have said there, I might not have
Put
said it.
anything on here that's really pertinent information, they're not giving their bank account
Right.
or their social security number or.
And I would hope
what we want is their opinion.
Yeah, right.
An opinion.
Just want public
I
input.
don't see where it's,
Public input.
sure, but if they just don't want to fill it out, then
It won't hurt them,
don't fill it out.
but we want them to fill it.
Maybe
we
instead of
need-
just saying required, you could say essential.
public participation is an essential part of strategic planning.
Yeah, that sounds better. Much
Yeah.
better.
Start a
Yeah.
Facebook page, then give the, like Tama County Sheriff. I mean, look at all, they got almost 1,000 followers. Is there something that we could do the same thing with the Tama County Zoning Board and give a heads up to what's going on and get it out there? Because everybody's on Facebook. I mean,
But maybe sheriff would let you put it up.
of what's going on and why we have to do this, and be on the lookout for it. If you really, this is really an essential part of being a county citizen, and we really need the input, and just kind of fan our own flame or whatever, and let people know why and what. And it's not a personal judgment. It's not going to make a difference on their job or their kids or anything else. It's just something that the legislature has required us to do.
Or raising taxes. Everybody thinks that when they fill something out or answer a question, why, are you gonna raise our taxes? Boy, that's the first thing.
Exactly. So it's
From my
just
perspective,
put all the flyers you want, but not everybody goes to the grocery store. I mean, some people do all the shopping in Marshalltown. It just, I don't know. A lot of people just don't do anything in town except live there. So we got to get something a little more public out there and let people know that, like I said, it's not trying to find out your personal finances or your net worth or value of your property or any of that. It's just to help Tama County grow.
That's good right there.
If you ask the sheriff to share it on his site, they will trust it more.
I think so.
Yes. And I believe Karen has mentioned to us other employees that if we have something that's a widespread notification, we can send it to her and she will spread it to the other departments
Right.
to post on their own pages or to repost on their pages. So I think that would,
Facebook once in a while.
that would spread it more than me creating a new
Right.
account, which then I would have to manage and I can't even get our videos up in a timely manner.
When you put it on Facebook, there's no credibility at all, it takes it down and out, because I don't trust somebody garbage.
Well, the link would just be to direct them to our
That's
website.
just my opinion, I don't know, maybe other
Do
people,
you trust flyers in the grocery store or the bank?
well, I can read them.
So that's why I think we should do the multifaceted. We've got
Yeah.
Facebook posts, people can repost on whatever platform they want.
Libraries.
Libraries.
Yeah.
Libraries, so we wanna look into libraries, banks, assisted living.
I will have the Tribes Media Department put it out too.
Okay.
The settlement, and people who live off the settlement get all that too, so. They can put it out and sure they would be happy to print copies and put them around the settlement too.
Okay,
And so please do that.
I'm so glad that you think they'd be interested in helping with this because
Yeah.
they're big, if you look at them up, it's a big part of. Yeah.
They live in town, you know,
Yeah.
they're not just on the settlement.
Where all should we look at putting the flyers? I was thinking, somebody said, should we do hard copies in libraries too, or just flyers? Both, okay. So flyers, I'm making a list.
Any of the mini marts, cities, WECS, those places where lots and lots of people go, we can ask and see if they'd be willing to allow us to put them there. Maybe in their entranceway or, you know, I mean, there's loads of people in and out all the time.
Co-ops.
Any of the
So we got,
cases, Flatbrook, Dizer, Tama, Toledo, you know,
co-ops, we've got Dizer, Cloutier, Trayer, Mid Iowa.
Elbron, yeah.
Which one's Heartland?
Elbron.
Oh, we said Elbron in Heartland, I was.
Heartland in Elbron.
Cloutier. Chelsea have their own? Chelsea doesn't have one.
No, they closed it.
Bindings too, Binding doesn't have one.
I
It
just
doesn't have,
have,
Dining grocery.
I can have the casino put it out to their staff.
Cross section of farmers there every morning.
how about when I get the QR code on that flyer? I'll email it out to everybody's email that's provided it to me for here. You guys can forward the flyer as you want to as well, aside from any other postings we do. I'd say the more we can get it out from all of us, the better. I want to get as many responses back as we can.
what about the town halls, Garwin Town Hall, Glaverick Town, and, you know, any of those, they all got town hall.
Town halls. Okay.
Flatbrook, or they all do.
I can also,
Some of the larger employers, like, back and. She's fine.
would you guys be willing to help spread those to employers and such that you think if I'm doing the libraries, banks? I mean, I can't hit every
You don't need
convenience
to
store in
do
the county.
You don't need to do them all. I can run some around once you get them all printed. I mean, it's up here on my end of the county. Once you get them printed and out, let me know.
Have a drop box for water and sewer. They usually put stuff on the door right next to that, you know?
Okay.
You see it when you, and everybody has to go to that drop box. You know,
And mentioning convenience store shooters in the travel plaza
Yeah.
out at the summit, that would be another one.
We get a lot of mileage in those days. Hmm,
I know
Laura,
the
can
one-
you do an article in the local paper?
Bernie took care of that for me.
Oh, okay, okay.
I can try to send that, anybody else want to volunteer? Berlin again? No?
Oh, what aspect?
That we have the survey and we're ready to have people send it back.
Let's talk, sure, yeah. Put QR codes in the paper?
Yeah, you can, I think so. Or just say, go to any county, go to the county website and it'll be on there.
Like, yeah,
Cause I'll have the link on my zoning page.
And if you can put a QR code in that, you can put a QR code in any paper, so.
Okay. Do we have any other survey discussions that we wanna have? About distribution or anything else?
So do we have a place in the survey where it says anything about what? Is there any one particular thing you want to see in Tama County? Like rec centers?
It would be the last question.
That's the last question, do we need to?
What is one change you wanna see in Tama County in the next 10 years?
Or addition, maybe change or addition. Instead of just the word change,
We wanna reword that one?
or maybe,
What about improvement instead of change?
Change or improvement?
improvement doesn't necessarily mean adding something new.
right,
I like kind of what you,
addition,
yeah.
development.
Well, improvement could include something new though, that'd be more inclusive. Without writing a book for the question.
Addition doesn't have to be a building or a job, it could be, yeah,
Culture.
Do we wanna change the word change to improvement or something else?
Advancement.
it's,
There's
Okay.
one.
The change, advancement.
Would that throw off some people that,
don't know what advancement means.
Enhancement,
there's resources here?
I don't know, say, I think we're overthinking it.
Leave it as it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Should we leave it with change?
I guess I didn't wanna take the word change out, I just wanted to add it or to add, to complement what Andrea said, just to add another word to expand on the question itself. I didn't really wanna take the word change out of there, because maybe I just want a whole bunch of trees planted somewhere. Or maybe along Highway 63, I'd like to have a whole bunch of windbreak planted, like this up in, the county of North Blackhawk, County, something like that.
I think change would encompass that.
Yeah.
I did have one other update I wanted to kind of give. I based off of the Butler County one that's up here, but all their tables and stuff for historical data and such. The auditor's office was able to help me out with the census information reports that we've gotten back to 1990, so that'd be covering 4 censuses. Censi? Which is what Butler did. They went back 4 census rotations for most of their stuff. There's also census of agriculture, something, and census of economics, which are on off years from that. So I believe the ag one goes in 2s and 7s, so 12, 17, 22. But I've started compiling spreadsheets for the same questions that they have for the forms in there. That I would just look for the information in our own reports, our own census reports. I did find the ag ones online, so I've got access to those, saved. I haven't started pulling the information yet. It was more putting the spreadsheet forms together where I need to go find the info and then matching those tables to what's in there. We can discuss later if we want the exact same ones, if we want to take any out before I go through all the data. But that is something that we could compile for our history part. There's a report from Department of Ag, I think, that here's the soil survey. You farmers all read the soil survey? It actually got published a while back,
Up this there.
something like that. It's online. But they have an entire history section at the front of Tama County. Like, we could probably quote that. As long as we use it as a source and not like word for word. That's a good source there. I found a couple other online sources that have some good historical information for the county.
And there's just a new watershed study that's been going on that's incredible for the Iowa River. It's already done, just so you know.
Some of the tables, I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through them. I didn't go through the bigger ones, but one of the tables in here include tax rates, valuation statistics, report revenues, expenditure and fund balance trends, retail trade, service industries, educational attainment. The ag stuff includes number and average size of farms, land in farms and acres harvested, corn production, soybean production, cattle and hog statistics, occupation classifications, economic base. I mean, it's all over. Median rent, housing units, renter stuff, the age of the housing units. Pretty interesting. And then I've already found a few maps to go with. You've got elevation map for the county. Full board map. I don't know if we'd want that. I don't know if I've seen that in any others, but I have that one already. Google Maps. Yeah, go to Google Maps. There's a bunch of other ones in here that we could probably emulate as well. I do need to update our zoning map. The last one was 2019, and I know it's slightly out of date. So we want to get that done before we get that in here as well. Future meetings, we can talk about what all maps we want to include, which tables we want to include. If you guys get the chance, browse a few of those links I sent you, Richard, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name. From the tribe.
Oh, sorry, John.
John. I can send you guys. Did you get the links? I know you're on my email list.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think so.
Richard, I'll send you the links if I didn't already. So if you get a chance to go through those, that's a couple different counties that have options. Buchanan County is a good one because it's smaller and that's kind of the way I'm gonna go without going overboard if we can.
County is pretty similar size,
Is it?
not any big cities.
They have Independence. Independence is pretty big.
Yeah, it's not a real big city in town.
Anything else we want to discuss about land use?
You get all this information. This is kind of interesting.
Oh, that got emailed out, the data for decision makers. I had a few copies out there, I didn't print off a ton, so some of you might not have gotten it. I believe I included the link when I sent out the last one to all of you guys. That has a lot of good information we can include in our land use plan as well.
Yes.
This is an open extension then.
Yes. I believe Rob found that link for me, right?
Good.
So yeah, that does have a lot we could incorporate. Various statistics and such. So if we just go with the changes we talked about, I mean, they're very straightforward changes like the age range and splitting up a couple things. And we already talked about the wording. Does anybody care to see a proof before I send it out? Or if I just go with those changes, just post it?
You can have.
So do we want to have another land use planning meeting before we get the survey back? To work on other things like the tables and the maps and the history and such, or just wait till we get the survey and kind of see where we.
Well, I think we can come up with an outline I think we should keep the committee busy because I mean, it's coming.
I guess coming.
So if we look at all these other land use plans and we come and we see the things that we like, we can, you know, make an outline of things we like and just start how we're gonna work on them. Because we need the maps and stuff regardless, so.
Any of you guys find anything or ideas as you're reading through them, email them to me and I will put them in a file that we can all discuss when we come back later. So go ahead and send those back to me. And if it's anything that you think is urgent enough to forward on to the zoning members or anyone else in the group, I can pass that along. I was gonna keep everybody in a blind copy because they can't all be on an email discussion for the quorum rules, and I'd rather keep you guys all privacy rules and stuff. Just to not discourage anyone from being on the group.
Probably the only thing that the board would be the only people that needs to approve this. Before you set it out. So if you got a final draft and they look at it and say it's okay, that's it. No. We should have the last say.
Okay, I can send you guys a copy before I send out the final for sure. Say, hey, I made these, did I screw it up?
Laura. When you send out this survey, will you be able to tell people how to return it? An address or places they can return it to?
Add that to the flyer. Yes, I can do that. Or the hard copy, add it to the hard copy.
I was gonna say, just put the top, give them the options of return to where you got it or return to you.
Okay,
Is there an option, will there be a blank sheet on the last sheet? Will that be blank? Could you do like a lot of surveys, you know, have the dotted lines divided in 3, please use for tape, and then put postage and then your zoning board address on there, that if people wanted to mail it in, they could? So then they would know that's where it would go. I mean, it's an option.
postage.
I think it's gonna be expensive to send it back in the mail.
People aren't gonna want to spend any money on it.
No, the mail is not true.
And mail's been taken forever, they in our neck of the woods.
I mean, I will have my address on here, say return it to my office. If they want to mail it, that is my mailing address. Throwing it in.
No, someone
Okay.
else, if your address is on there, and that's what they want to do, then.
And I go to our mailing found to return, and I'll only have that on the hard copy, how to return. How to return.
And you're giving them the option of putting them back where they picked them up at, right? Like if they're at the.
I would hope anyone that's passing out would be willing to hang on to it so I could pick
Right.
it up again. And return. Okay. On one thing on the survey, I was thinking of leaving. So I don't know if you see at the bottom, it says comprehensive plan survey, and I added a draft. The way I have it is that it's printed at least once on every page, whether it's the front or the back, however fit best with formatting. I was gonna leave that in case it ever got separated, and I will take off the draft part that's printed. So that won't be there. And then the reason I have it again is because if we're cutting off the front page, I could still have it. But it's only on those 2. I will add how to return the survey to the printed copy.
I've got a question.
Yes.
We're gonna allow until end of March. Do we want to meet again before that period of time and collect the ones that have been filled out and look at them between now and March 31st, or don't you want to jump the gun?
I think before March 31st, zoning should at least plan to meet and work on wind ordinance. We haven't touched that in a few meetings. As far as what we can do on it, I could throw on public notice, review any return surveys. And then I can just let everybody in the group know after that if we've actually gotten any that we need to review, because if we don't have a lot back, might not be worth everyone coming in.
True, that's true.
I'm okay with doing it as we go, you know, saying, hey, we've gotten 10 back and review the trend that's going so far. I definitely think zoning should meet before the end of March, at least twice, to work on wind stuff. Or possibly other, you know, what we're going to do, outline it and everything. Karen and I are working on a system where she doesn't have to be here when we're having meetings, so that's one less person we've got to check the building plans. When do we want to meet again then? If we're not meeting to discuss the survey until after March 31st. What dates would work for you?
Not the first week of March, please, parent teacher conferences.
The first week of March. Okay. So we're only on the 11th. Can we do anything? If I post public notice by Friday, we could meet the week of the 23rd. So like the 24th, 25th, 26th. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I've got school board on the Wednesday of that week, but we could always do a Tuesday or a Thursday. If anybody else can do that.
This would be the 24th or 26th is what you're talking about.
I'd rather go 26th if it's the same to anybody else.
It's fine.
I'm open to 26th.
You need to check.
That's a Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Hopefully I'm mobile by then. Right now, the calendar's open.
So Thursday, the 26th.
Wade's gonna check.
I think I'm good. For that.
6 o'clock still work for everybody?
Yeah.
It's kind of nice driving in.
Daylight.
Sun is still up. Yeah, okay. We'll go ahead and just do that one for now and we can work on the next one after that. I will still probably check with Karen just to make sure there isn't anything that I don't know about in this room. And I'll let you guys know if that date won't work, but we're in for the 26th for now.
We're doing February 26th, right?
February 26th, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't March.
We want to look at March now.
You guys want to look at March now?
Yeah.
Sure.
March 11th.
Works for me.
What day does that fall on?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday the 11th. That out of another day.
Sure, Wednesday the 11th. Everybody good? Jody, Wednesday, March 11th, does that work for you?
Right now it does. Yep, looks good to know.
So for everyone here for the task force, let's go ahead and say on the 11th. Do you guys want to say, just have a first part of the meeting will be task force, and if we get done early, you can leave, and if it's the full 2 hours, whatever, you can leave whenever you want. We'll do a run on outline and which tables we want to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sound good for everybody? As soon as I get the survey published, I will send out the flyer that I created with the QR code. And might add something to that about, you know, going to our website. If people, a lot of people don't like QR codes either. I'm one of those people. So just directing them to our website, I will send out a smaller version of the flyer as a Facebook post that we can get, see if we can get Karen to have everybody post on their own sites. Does Assessor have a Facebook page?
No, we don't.
Zoning doesn't either. It's conservation. I know auditor and sheriff's do.
You mean nature center conservation?
Yeah.
They do. I don't know how often they use it.
Very often. They have any followers, that's a couple more people doing our survey than not, so, we'll see who all can send that out. I don't know if engineers have it too, maybe. They have one for like following road issues. We'll check with all the county people, we'll get it on the website. I'll see if Michelle will put a blurb on the main page, otherwise it'll just be under zoning, I guess. We'll get the word out, and yeah, if you see anybody you know at all that lives and or works in Tabor County, tell them to fill out the survey, please.
7:20 or 7:15, do we want to delve into wind yet tonight, or has anybody got that in their minds at all, or do you want to adjourn and do it next meeting, or what do you think, Laura?
If you guys are okay staying, I'd like to keep working until maybe 8, since we're here, unless y'all want to get out of here. It's on the agenda, so we're okay to work on it. I mean, it's been a while, we gotta get our brains back.
Thank you.
No, stick around, you're very welcome to. If you're like, got some other stuff.
Topics.
Why don't we take a little 5-10 minute break, we'll switch the topic.
Like, sure. Survey, because it always looks better in the paper if I have a picture of what you're doing. Oh, well.
We're gonna take a 10-minute break. I want to thank all you folks for coming. It means a lot to us. After the break, we're gonna deal with the wind energy conservation system, WECS. Until 8, probably. Thank you.
Can you, would you be in my picture? Like you're the head of zoning, you're kind of heading this up and we're all looking at you.
Yeah.
You want people to find out your paper last time.
Yeah, just the model.
Sorry, Bernie. Yeah. Not using the message out. Yeah. We talked about it. I know we can change it up last time.
Monday morning, I wasn't thinking, so I gotta figure out what's at.
I might have had it 3 notes, but you didn't send it to me, so you probably won't remember last week. Did you watch 12:3?
Oh, cause the last thing I sent you, we did really,
Last thing,
I know,
you didn't really send it, because like, we didn't really make
we
any
didn't
changes.
do any
You don't
changes.
get bored of you here though.
I gotta figure out
The
whatever we can do.
adrenaline rush is
Last
pretty
thing
good.
was
Actually,
that we talked about when, so that would be.
You know, we have-
After that. That day.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't put too many on there, I should just get rid of them, but I'm crazy to get rid of them.
Oh, yeah?
I just wanted to dig into it.
So I found
Already September.
Pretty sure.
I gotta find those.
My notes, so maybe.
Prayer. North Tama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one other one, right, we actually, I can't change.
Remember.
Might belong to Bob.
Steve, probably Steve.
I'm gonna put it.
The Murray kids are great, so there's half to talk about in North Tama. That's North Tama for you.
They got a big cattle operation in Hall.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's 12:03.
I think everyone's Steve's daughter. I do, Bob's granddaughter. I think so.
Which was.
Don't know what's gonna happen. I'm very impressed.
Same to her. How's Rachel and all of this?
Good
I said, well, I like your red shirt, it's Valentine's Day.
for, yeah.
Yes, it is. Case IH or Valentine. It's always good to see.
It was,
Yeah.
I got lucky, I turned it. We don't need to try to have a look.
I don't think we talked about
Under else,
it.
trying to stay at 2 o'clock here.
We talked about it.
What is it?
Bring yours.
So,
That would be, that's, oh, Saturday, okay. Okay. It wasn't the 19th.
We didn't meet December at all.
We did not, sorry, but we didn't talk about it.
Almost, it would have been in November.
It wasn't the 19th. Last time we talked about it, you start next level phones.
Okay.
I'm seeing the same. Issue resolution, yeah, that's what John's looks like. I think. Monday through Friday. Well, your name is, got something to do with the calendar, that's what you guys, I see your name. Or maybe you helped with the building or something, way back when.
Oh, here we go.
Saved on the 12th?
And, well, this one says November 19th. That's the last time I saved.
Well, then pull that one up.
Yeah.
I don't think we actually talked about it. Okay, because the minutes said we tabled it last week.
Oh, this looks familiar. I probably opened it. I probably didn't save it with the new date.
Well, I didn't even. So yeah, you saved it on the 19th. And if you want to change it to today's date, right? I gotta find my version.
Yeah. I wish.
Last dual They are. I like that. I didn't bring it out, so that's why everybody. Yeah. Copy. Yeah.
Oh, well, I keep it, so I probably in here somewhere. I have a regular copy.
Everybody about it.
Yeah, that's for now.
We always wait. We always wait.
That's fine, no, maybe you email me. I might be able to, no, don't print it for me or anything. Not that you offer.
I can print off another one, so we can have this
Are
one.
you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stay for a little bit. Okay. That's okay.
Yep, that's fine.
I'm interested.
And you got the purpose of the comprehensive plan? And this one?
Yep, we got that one. Hey, I like that, I like that.
Do you have a copy of the old? Plan? Change last year.
Final development plan.
Glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me.
You can look through those, but I need
Yep,
that,
I see that. Yep, I see it.
so you can look at it while we're talking when.
Well, that's really interesting. Really comprehensive.
One copy, the whole thing is one copy.
That's what we discussed.
All right. That was a very productive hour of discussion with the survey. Not a lot we had to change, but
Everybody has some input, that's good.
yeah.
I have my last notes here. It's 29 final submission.
I was gonna let you guys know the last minutes that mention anything were from the 12th, where we discussed issue resolution, road use agreements, among other topics. So, those are the two big ones, plus whatever little ones we did. Carol's got a copy of where we left off. Well, and it's weird because, okay. I'm attaching this one to you. Yeah, it should, your document should say draft from 11/12, is that what it says?
So. Okay, I just sent you something that was from November. Sent you. So. I think it's, it did look, actually, I should look at my emails that I sent.
What's the?
I know last time you were going to send me one because nothing changed enough to do it.
Once again.
Need to start a fire meeting.
Other than that, or would have written a date on it. Yeah.
You guys are okay with me doing the Microsoft Forms? That's good enough.
What would you say?
Microsoft Forms for the survey?
Yes. Does that have any,
Okay.
what's this? Oh,
That's the order, that's our ordinance you just said.
yes.
Oh, we do need to add to our WECS ordinance, the big one that we're working on. Accessory use, because that is in our existing one, that is not in our new one.
Oh, that thing that we just approved?
No,
No.
Accessory. Welling, you mean, or what are you talking about?
no, like, if somebody wants their own wind turbine on their farm for their own personal
Oh, well, you
use.
said accessory. The last thing we talked about accessory was.
Sorry. No, personal use. Wind turbines.
Like the Mid-Iowa Co-op turbines.
Right,
So-
attorney.
Non-commercial WECS, we call it non-commercial WECS. So that's the very first part of our wind ordinance, and we don't have anything like that in ours. So that would be for Joe Tuesday that wants to have his own wind turbine to help out his farm.
Right.
Instead of a solar array, he wants a turbine.
We don't want to discourage that at all. We want to encourage that if anything.
Right, because it wouldn't be nearly as tall as the ones that are going
So
commercial.
we need to write any regulations for it.
Well, if we're overriding our existing one with all this other commercial stuff, it's gonna get rid of that. So I think we should either have it as an accessory separate one or add an article into one.
We need to add it in.
Yeah. So it's similar. I think somebody my direction is that way in the county, south of Brook, but north of 30 has one. But I don't drive that way very often, so I can't be here. You don't see a lot of them around here, but we want to have it available. So if we're totally overriding what we have for our old WECS ordinance, we need to account for that, either as its own separate document or fold it in as a new article. I'd say add it at the beginning because it won't be nearly as long as it is. We don't have to do that tonight, just something we have to remember to do before we finish. I know we only have about half hour left if you want to stay late, but I think we can at least get our minds back on it since it's been a few months. We don't want to totally stop working on it while we're doing land use. Whenever you guys are ready. We'll follow you to these.
One question, is it all done building up now? With the wind towers and everything?
I believe once they start turning a while back, like before Christmas,
Yeah,
that's when they consider being done.
yes, and there's one, it's very rarely turning, and I've seen them there. Trying to fix it next year or whatever, I've seen them there several times working on it, but it only turns like once a week. And everything around it is whipping around.
Is all of the lay down yard gone?
No, what's still there is a lot of junk.
Well, yeah, I don't know which
I
one.
call it junk, I'm sure that it's building supplies. Two of the units like that they worked out of,
Is that the last?
building kind of thing,
I thought that was wild.
Still there.
still there. And there's just a bunch of little things.
Okay.
They, the semi was there earlier this week to take away another building. But there were 3 there and now there's just 2. But, yeah, I mean, I figured they'd have all that out while it was still, the ground was frozen, and now we're gonna get to the point where
Yeah, we got
getting a semi in there is gonna be impossible.
Well, there's still a lot of rock laid down, so.
Well,
Or they.
but that rock is on ground where it's gonna start getting soft.
it'll just sink in.
Yeah. So, and then they've gotta move that whole pile of dirt back down.
I just wondered how they.
I'm sorry.
It's the weirdest thing that, you know, for months that there was so much traffic and there were always cars moving in there. And now when it needs to work, it's just, there's nothing,
Nothing.
nothing. Even the security cameras are gone now. It's like they don't care if anything is stolen that night. So it's just jumped up. It is a lot of schools and there's I think they still have to pull up like where they had, I don't know how they got their own electricity there. The box is still there, so I don't know if they have to pull all that out. So I'm keeping track of, I mean, I guess I'm just happy I'm not as surrounded as some people are. Like, I'm kind of at the tail end of it. There's still some there and there, but like the vast majority is west of me. But there are some days where it scares the bejesus out of me at 5 a.m. when I'm heading out to the barn to feed the cats. If the wind is hitting it, if it's strong, sound like jet engines in my farm. And it's just the weirdest, it scares me because it's just, I'm not expecting that.
Yeah.
Back in December, out of 31 days, I could hear them 12 times, like 12 days that I could hear the turbine.
What's your closest one?
Half a mile.
When you say hear them, you mean inside the house or?
Oh, that's outside, but I can hear them inside the house too. The one that is southeast of me, I was laying in bed one night and I was like, what is that noise? And it was the constant, like the whoosh. I could hear it through my windows. I can hear it.
Your window was on.
No, because it was cold. My windows are not open yet.
Did they give you any idea before they put them up, how much you hear it, that you would hear it at all, or what
They weren't very talkative.
I figured that, okay.
No, they just we just kept hearing, you know, wind energy is renewable and it's
It'll
just
be the greatest thing ever.
the cleanest thing ever. I guess it could be worse. I mean, there's people where it's even closer. There's that house on Highway 63 that's directly just between Mid-Iowa and Hill. Huh?
Right across from Heather or south of Heather?
No. Down more towards the Mid-Iowa Co-op. It's just a farmhouse, kind of the last thing you see before you hit Mid-Iowa Co-op.
Yeah.
They've got one that's super close. I don't even, it's probably as close as you can be according to the whatever rules we had to begin with, but. Can't even imagine.
I believe they're not even none of them were as close as they could be. I think all of them went off of I'd have to double check for sure. But they were all touting that they were going with the 1,500 foot setback instead of the one that we have in our ordinance, because our ordinance isn't that robust.
So I think the closest one to me is half a mile.
Last question, they get the roads all fixed then?
My road was never horrible. There were times where we had, I know.
No,
There were
no. They are
They didn't
not
get a-
fixed. Anything up in my quadrant, or east and north of me and south of me, no, they have not been fixed. Nothing was done this fall. No rock was put down. When they tore out their access, corners and stuff, they just tore them up more. And then, of course, it dried up and froze, so they've left it that way. So I pray that the Board of Supervisors does not sign off on the road agreement, because they have not touched anything. There's 3 culverts that I know of east of me, 2 on 210th and 1 on N, that they broke with their heavy equipment, the concrete culverts that need to be replaced. They have not touched anything. They kind of covered it up with dirt that will make it look like nobody will notice, but no, they have not done the road up this way at all.
I do not believe they were planning to sign off yet. Last I heard, when they brought it to talk about signing off, they were only gonna do like part of it instead of the whole thing before it froze. I haven't heard it brought up since then, so I don't know if something happened that didn't happen in the public meeting or,
They'll have to wait till.
well, and now we don't have any.
Well, hopefully
So-
we get a county engineer that's gonna be more forceful in saying no and enforcing this road agreement that, no. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be repaired that they have not done. And it's only gonna be worse when they put the other 27 towers in that quadrant, that section right down there. So those roads have never been the best anyway. And our Tama County roads up in our corner have always been lousy. But once they tore them up with these towers, they're impossible. I hate to see what spring's gonna bring. They're nothing but a mud hole now. I mean, not now that it's frozen, but this fall, they were just mud holes.
I
So,
will say that our Tama County road grader did more damage than they did because my ditches are now full of rock.
Heard that from a couple areas. I think it's just your grader.
It's really hard for them. You know,
Well, it is, but it isn't if you're trained. I've seen road graders work on roads, then the roads are looking great. And then, like ours, they just keep digging in and we've got these lips on these, why don't you call them up, just these,
they're trying to mount it up in the center and it just,
it's not working, so.
Well, they tried to do the crown, but then all winter they have to have the ridge so that all the stuff doesn't run off.
Yeah.
But then half of it ends up in the ditch if they, so, okay, so last time, what did I say we talked?
I don't know.
Issue resolution and I think we're down towards the end. I think we're working through section 800. And 900. So do you guys want to jump in there or do you want to just kind of,
what did you say now?
I know we did issue resolution, which is section 800. Okay. Issue resolution is actually.
Oh, operational maintenance. Page 39. Anybody got a paper copy of it?
Yeah, I don't, if you need, if somebody need it, because I've got it on my computer and stuff. Okay.
How you doing, please?
Do you have a copy, Wade?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
So you guys might want to think about where we're at this week. If we're talking about it at the last half of the next meeting or so. Do we want to just keep going through the end of this and then start at the beginning? I know with solar, we went through all of it and then we just did a blast through all in order. Like I mentioned before, we do need to add the individual wind turbines, non-commercial, personal, however we want to name it,
Can you draft some language to that effect?
to add it in here.
To add it in here?
Yes, I can do that. Do you guys want to call it personal turbines? Do you want to call it just non-commercial?
I call it non-commercial.
Non-commercial, because I'm not entirely sure if like John Deere is considered commercial since they're a business, or if they're considered non-commercial since they're not commercially producing.
They're not selling energy.
If it was me, I'd consider them non-commercial. I don't know what they actually got.
Yeah.
So we'll call it non-commercial wind energy conversion systems with an explanation similar to what we have for solar about supplementary use only for use on your own farm. That sound all right? And I'll throw in some of the.
Is community solar considered non-commercial?
Community solar is gonna be its own thing.
I know, but.
Would you say anything in the language that they utilize the energy on site or?
Well, our current solar ordinance, we probably want to rename slightly, just so it's more specifically accessory use. Right now, it just says it in the definition, not in the title. Utility scale solar is very clearly for over that amount. It's got a definition there. once we get the community solar going, that's might be when we want to tweak the other solar, just to add in the definition, this is for. I mean, it's already in the subparts, it's just not in the title. Community solar, we might just want to do a paragraph explanation. This is not utility scale, it is for use locally in a community. As community,
The people that are.
I sound redundant. I just wondered, yeah, we'll figure out some definitions and make it good for everybody.
Start reviewing that 800 then,
800, 800.
801. Gotta read through it, see if you come up with any changes or anything back.
Because even if somebody puts, say, like, they're at John Deere, when they put those up, do they contract then with Alliant to, Alliant buys any excess power? I mean, does that make them a commercial, provider
So,
then?
I think if they have excess power, I think it goes into Alliance system, but then it comes back, but then it, yeah, during your upper usage. So they'll level it out, but you.
So they use Alliant like storage.
Yes, it just offsets their utility use later, doesn't it?
Right,
Yeah.
I don't know all the contracting.
yeah, you can use it to offset your, but you can't get more.
The sole purpose of putting up a tower like that would be for your own personal consumption, whether it be a business or a home or whatever, or a farm. So that wouldn't be considered a CWEX then? Is that what the deal is?
No, if it's for your personal farm, it would not be considered CWEX, because the commercial would be for production use.
Okay, gotcha.
Do we need to add that definition earlier? I guess I don't remember what the earlier definitions are.
1.1 looks good.
I forget what MET stands for.
Meteorological.
Oh, he doesn't tell us, that's right.
I don't know if MEDSA is MET a whole acronym, or is it just a abbreviation of meteorological?
I should have.
Meteorological evaluation towers.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
We have the definition in 200.30 meteorological parentheses, quotation marks, MET tower. Shall mean a tower which is erected primarily. So we have that abbreviation listed in the definition. Do we need to spell
9-foot structures.
section?
Is that the first time it's shown up? I was thinking it showed up somewhere else.
You have it in our definition?
We have it in the definitions, but I don't. So in section 501, we do say installation meteorological MET towers.
Oh, it does say back on 103.3, it says meteorological towers. So do we want to just put in parentheses next that MET?
But we never put a size limit in, did we?
I don't know if we want to do it the first time in every section, spell it out.
Oh, hang on.
It is in the definitions.
Yeah. So yeah. So we shouldn't have to do it.
There's no, size. On what I pulled up online, says 100 to 199 foot structures used to assess wind speed, direction, and density. They're designed to collect crucial multi-year data on wind shear environmental conditions, determine economic viability and guide turbine selection.
So do we want to go back to page 10 and change the definition of meteorological tower? And have more of what she has. We already have a definition of a Met tower in there, Jody. Page
Right.
10,
It just doesn't have a size definition. Do we need to put a size in there or just let it be
I
what
don't
it
think
is?
we're not doing an ordinance on Met towers.
How many of these towers they put up? 3 or 4?
don't they usually? I was thinking 10, but
I can't imagine be 600-foot tall.
Once they get the system up.
I thought that was the wording I've heard or seen in the previous conditional use permits, yes.
So I thought they'd take them down after everything's.
Well, I know the LiDAR is a permanent thing, and that's technically a meteorological structure, but it's not the preliminary figuring out if it's a viable system tower. I don't think we'd want to put in max because technology changing so much, it'd be out of,
Be out of compliance.
It'd be obsolete. it'd be absolute, yeah.
Well, it's not focused. It's not like it's the big focus of our ordinance.
Well, you don't want one good, right?
Yeah.
So everywhere else, we do really say we don't have Met on its own, it's meteorological with Met there. But we do have it defined as that in the definition, so I don't know that we would need to add it. However, the feedback we got from solar was if we don't have it defined in every section, we need to have it at least once.
Well, on 501.2, it does says meteorological parentheses Met tower, but it's in lowercase letters. That's probably the uppercase, right?
Or we could go back to the definition and make that lowercase, but, or capital M.
I'm just gonna, it seems like that's an acronym and that should just be all capital.
Well, acronym would be MET, what the E stand for. Meteorological Met tower is just a,
Oh, it's evaluation. Meteorological evaluation towers. That's what they're called.
oh,
That's what it's called.
then we need to change our definition. Because our definition says meteorological towers.
Well, we just need to add evaluation.
Remember you highlighting,
I highlighted it.
no, did you highlight yellow for stuff you change?
Yes.
And then I do blue for stuff I change.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to definition.
I need to add our, it's been so
We
long,
need
I
to put
forgot
key.
what our legend was.
We put the legend in, please. Okay. Changes.
I know blue is me, because that's got my initial next to it.
All right.
All of you have yellow, that was normal.
That was the 200.
200 point there, we
So
actually,
you probably.
well, I think that's what I remember saying.
On that page?
Yeah, 80, I'm up to
Page 10.
Here we go. Yeah, meteorological evaluation.
802.
So then if we say Met tower, then that's
So
say
this,
tower
so
twice.
the definition has met in between evaluation and tower. That probably should go after tower.
Well, I feel like they just, it's not an acronym, it's an abbreviation, I think.
Well, then there'd be a period.
I have it known here.
There's
Steve on
punctuation.
802, that's your resolution.
I know, but when we talk about abbreviations, it's always like Mr. and Mrs. abbreviation, there's a period after that. Iowa has an abbreviation, usually a period after that. I just feel like
You do period after IA.
But you got it in there.
I always have.
I think it's because
Question.
it's only,
I still put two spaces when I type two after.
it's that's the hardest thing for me is to remove the comment with the state or after, after the city in your address.
Oh, yeah,
That's been hard.
I don't, I just think of. I'm just gonna move this to after tower because it's,
Meteorological, I'm just gonna check on mine. Meteorological tower.
Can't you just put a meteorological, I can't even say it. Meteorological evaluation tower, and then put your parentheses MET.
that's what I did. Okay, so I've got that highlighted yellow. And now I need to, oh shoot, where else did I see that? That I told you about.
So we can't ever call them Met Towers because that'd be redundant. So we want to say Mets, capital M, capital E, capital T, lower S. If we use that abbreviation.
That's the way it is in the definition that you carry it out through the ordinance then, shouldn't it?
Betterment, Met Towers.
I think it only comes up at what, 801.1 again?
Oh, well, okay, so at 501.2, it was in there, it said, for purposes of this paragraph, the installation of meteorological evaluation towers, but they just put in Met, and I think, I don't know, it was already in there. They're probably should say that.
Capitalized. Maybe you could take it out and just put capitalize MET. Take out the meteorological word. Installation of Met Towers. Associated
That's
with.
redundant. You can't say Met Towers, because then it'd be meteorological evaluation tower. I'm not with that. I'm looking it up and it's not very helpful.
You just need to put the capital MET, just like it is in the rest of the ordinance. And then that should carry through, shouldn't it? Because your definition has MET. If anybody wants to know what MET stands for, they go back.
This is an FAA safety site, and the FAA says Met Towers.
All caps?
They just have everything in
what?
capital. Well, no, they've got it both ways. When they have Met Towers, they have Met, it's all capital, and then they have towers, they're calling them Met Towers.
Yeah.
I feel in that case, you're abbreviating meteorological down.
There's no period.
Test, you can't do it in the area.
Well, I just don't think there is, official with English languages you are.
Anyway, the FAA calls them Met Towers.
And there was some thought that went into that. Yeah, that's right.
So the Texas Department of Transportation says the increasing number of meteorological evaluation towers. Let's see, capital M, capital E, capital T, lower
It
S.
looks pretty sound to me.
Yeah, most of these places are actually saying Met Towers, so. We'll just leave it. No one's gonna care.
You
that what you
can have components. I guarantee you.
Obviously, the guys don't care.
No. There's.
We're ahead of you, ladies.
What?
We're ahead of you.
Where you at?
Okay.
Yeah. Either
802.2.
Noise compliant,
noise compliant regulations.
noise complaint.
Not, I mean, it looks like that's pretty intense language in there that's, I think, probably well thought out.
Do we want to specify business days or calendar days?
What's that?
802.2, do we want to specify 10 business days or 10 calendar days? Or just leave it as 10 days? Because I think 10 days would be 10 calendar days if we don't specify.
10 calendar days, that's, yeah, I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
I think that would line up with all of the regular public notice stuff, 10 days,
Where were we just at?
802.2. Page 40.
Okay. And was there something I needed to change there?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
we're gonna leave it just 10
Okay.
days. And then that'll default to calendar days.
All right.
Let's go 2.2 C. Any sound test will be conducted by qualified acoustical select. Yeah,
Who's statistic?
selected by the approved by the county supervisors. Do you want that, the planning administrator instead?
All right, we've got a problem with abbreviations. We don't have SCADA defined anywhere. And
So we don't know. what it
except,
is.
we do, way up in the definitions.
Do.
Yeah, we do. Sorry, my search was just starting in a weird place. Supervisory control and data acquisition. I think we're fine, never mind.
Okay.
We got it.
So leave that with the county supervisor. Do not move that to the zoning administrator.
Hold on, any sound tests will be conducted by phone. Statistician. No, that's not what it says. It says acoustician. We need an extra TI in there if it's how you pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce, that's why I just said the way I did.
Is that correct though? Acoustician? It didn't come up with a spelling error. No synonyms. Any sound test, a qualified person selected by and approved in a public meeting
Who they.
by county supervisors.
Yeah, okay.
It's spelled
You
right.
just go to one person and they, yeah,
I'm fine with it staying with county supervisors because it's gotta be approved in a public meeting.
right, yeah, that's,
When they have that public meeting in there, that means,
right,
you know,
agree.
Okay, does the time line up with everything?
let's
So,
push back if they want everything, put it to the administrator. They're just trying to keep it.
okay, the date where complaints are considered shall be communicated 10 days prior. Notice, if a complaint is submitted, they must cooperate by providing data for the 24-hour period surrounding the complaint time. Oh, I think we need an apostrophe in there.
Where?
802.2B. Complaint apostrophe S. Surrounding the complaint's time and date. Time and date of the complaint, apostrophe S. All right.
I think so.
It's also agreed as part of the permit for the property. Station. Sound tests will be conducted by someone selected in a public meeting. So that public meeting will provide access prior to competence requested.
End of it. Okay, testing conducted on 3 different days. What 3 days would be picked? I mean, we've had 3 days with 60-mile-per-hour winds, and we've had calm days where the towers aren't even turning. How do you pick 3 days? That, I mean, I don't want to stand up for the tower people, but we kind of have to. How are we going to pick 3 days that's fair to everybody? I mean, we could pick one high wind day, one no wind day, and a low wind day. I mean, how do you pick 3 days?
What section are you on, Jody?
This would be a D.
See,
Yeah.
it's
But
a little
if
bit
you-
further down from this testing and stuff.
So days.
It'd be the
And then
ex-
it's-
Jody, it'd be the acustician's discretion to pick the days, I believe.
30311. Where the sound,
But how are you gonna do that?
802.2D is what this does.
You could pick 3 days that the wind's howling through it anywhere from 20 to 60 mile an hour. You could pick another 3 days and there's nothing. Dog days of summer. How could you? I don't
Well,
know.
they're supposed to be, it says in D that they're conducted on 3 different days with varying wind direction and gust wind
Yeah,
speeds.
they're,
So they have to pick days that have different
Conditions.
data conditions. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And that'll be in their results, so you
it's
can,
not blowing.
and you could verify the conditions when they give their results.
on 30311, when we have what the sound requirements are.
Okay,
Ambient
but what
noise
comes
but-
in if they've hired somebody, they
on the wind velocities at the proposed project site are sufficient to allow wind turbine operation, provided the wind velocity does not exceed 30 miles per hour. At the ambient noise measurement location.
Do we need to reference 30311 in the later 802?
Well, it does, back here, 30311 is,
It's referenced in there.
Oh, it is?
right,
Oh, I missed that, sorry.
and what we want to do is make sure that we have 30311 the way we want that.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
and
At least,
Someone
at least
down
it's correctly
to
referencing something.
to disturb people. We've got
Well,
50 to, but I don't know.
Do we see in 30311 that wind velocity doesn't exceed 30 miles an hour? And do we want to stay above 30? It can move, noise can be whatever it wants to be. You know, that basically,
So do you want to make a notation?
this is saying that the noise
802.2
maybe
D or E.
they are sufficient to allow wind turbine
I'd like
operation
just a
provided the wind
bracket.
velocity does not exceed
Parentheses with
30.
the square one, it just says. Go back and review 303.11, make sure it's how we want it,
So
and then we'll leave that
this
for
is
different
the
dates.
ambient noise measurements are only,
Yeah, just leave that after E and we'll do that back.
And then they can apply for the variance also.
Yeah, let me just say, yep, I have it back. And then for
Wrong bracket.
E number 2, can you just make that a capital A?
Can be granted by the Board of Adjustments.
Where we at?
Defined in the zoning ordinance.
802.2 E
Provided
number
the
2,
following is by content
make it a capital A.
and consent.
Oh, upper, okay.
Don't want to miss that one. All right, guys, it is 8 o'clock. You want to keep hitting it a little longer? We're not holding up here on this meeting. Pick up here again. We made a note in the ordinance draft that we're gonna have to go back and make sure we get 303.11 exactly how we want it. I don't know if you want to run up to 303.11 and just highlight there going, this is referenced in 802.2.
Hang on,
E.
gotta get there.
and some of those, like
Okay.
311, it had a lot of decibel lists and everything like that. But
Yeah.
what's that actually sound like? What is that?
So
The
yeah,
different frequencies, some of them
when
are
we go back through again, then at least we'll know that we.
high frequency, some.
311.
Yeah.
Might be crazy.
Okay, so right there, you want me to do just,
At the end of 303.11, that's where you're at.
well, it's 311 A, B, C, D, B, C.
Do it before A. Stop at 303.11. And then just do another bracket, highlight and say, this is referenced in 802.2 E. Make sure it's good, exclamation point.
The main traveling. Now,
Yeah, for Randy's. For the B? Rest of the. Oh, for, Lisa wasn't enough, sorry, yeah.
What do I ask you this somewhere? You want to?
Well, we got more done on this than we had in the last 2 months, so we're good.
Candidates.
We'll be starting on the top of page 41 approximately.
I'd say bottom of page 41, that's where we're at E.
Okay.
And we have notes on both 303.11 and 802.2 to make sure that they're working together.
oh man, we went to this little church. Down in the, without, you know, usually in church, it's behind the altar. This one they had windows.
No rush to send that, just whenever you get around to it.
Few times.
Doesn't have to be- I've got another meeting
Just on the other
tomorrow. So I'll be
Grand
working on
Targhee.
it for tomorrow, so I
Yeah.
need-
Okay, so what I sent you earlier,
West,
just
west side.
delete, and then I'll make sure I'll just put in the notes that this is the updated.
I mean, that,
Okay.
and it's funny, beautiful.
And then I'll change the date
Well,
for the
I don't
draft
know.
after I get
I
that
sent
date
that
and
to you.
send it out again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
But
I like how we work together.
I go outside, like this morning went out yesterday and I just freeze, I just hurt, I just hate the cold.
I appreciate.
That's when you're like, yeah.
I get when, you know,
But that is,
they do it.
that's where that is.
It drives me
But some
crazy.
places just down the hill from that.
I can't just keep.
You go back and you're gonna go up to London town and
Well, I know
there's
it's a search function.
irrigation
Yes.
pits and farms.
Yeah.
And we went.
Except that when I was looking at that now, I was taking anything
Well, we
that had
got some-
SPT in it,
Yeah.
meter or diameter. It's really like, well, there's a lot
Guys,
of better, not really.
we're farmers, we've got cattle.
Shut down.
I mean, it was a little rural.
All right, we're gonna ask for a motion to adjourn.
And move we adjourn.
Carol.
Second.
Now,
Second.
Steve.
All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
We are adjourned.